Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Hey, What's This? This is going to be another solo expedition. Looks like I fell asleep reading a book in bed. We're back now, though. You can see we're having a little bit of trouble with our engines. Let's hope that our sail can get us where we need to go. That doesn't look broken yet. Looks like the wind is not actually going in a favorable position. Drop that back. We need to do grab some fuel. Dump it in here. I'm just having a little bit of difficulty push this end. I don't think we're going to be running it as efficiently as we could be, but we're off. So you may or may not have seen this around. This is Far Lone Sails. A not great title for a pretty good game. The title is at least descriptive. Let me pull this forward. So what this is it's kind of drawing on a little bit of some of that, like a cinematic platformer, I think I would call the genre. Sort of drawing on the techniques of that kind of genre. Something like a Limbo, Inside, Little Nightmares, Another World, Flashback, you know, those kind of things that focus a lot on atmosphere, storytelling, that kind of thing, and a little bit less on the more like challenging platformer stuff. Like, that's not to say those platformers aren't challenging, because a lot of times they are incredibly hard, unreasonably so, kind of notorious for that kind of stuff. But they're very big on like the story and atmosphere stuff. This is a little bit less of the challenging platformer bits, and or just like the platforming at all, and instead it kind of replaces it with a lot of atmosphere, a lot of atmosphere, and piloting like this kind of big mechanical machine. So there's not a lot of context given to you in the beginning. You just kind of walk to the right, you find your machine, and then, you know, you set out, put some fuel in it, set out and start moving. I'm gonna tug this out here. I think you can only move it so far before I let go. But that's good for getting over hills. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different stations here. Over here is where you operate the engine. Pushing it here will burn your fuel, get you to start going. It'll build up steam here, which you can release. That'll give you a little boost forward. Up here we have a hose we can use to, if anything catches fire, we can use that to put it out. There is a sail up there. I'm not currently using it because the wind is not blowing in a favorable direction. Over there on the left, you saw that is where you put consumable objects to burn them. So basically, it's getting this rickety machine, trying to operate. The challenge, there's not so much of a challenge in that there's like any difficult things you need to do. There's really no failure as far as I've seen so far. It's really like a soft kind of failure, I would say. Not even like a failure state or like a small negative repercussions. Because mostly what happens is, if you don't operate your machine well, it just slows down. And the challenge is keeping it efficiently running so that you're not constantly jumping in and out, having to repair things. And you can get to your destination faster, which I'm not exactly sure what the destination is yet. But I wanted to show this off a little bit. I did show it off on the indie game stream earlier this month with Sam. I'm still figuring out all the streaming stuff, you know. It's pretty difficult. There's pretty difficult hardware requirements, rather. So, the quality of that stream was not as good as I'd like. This game in particular, I felt like deserved a little bit better. Not that the other games didn't, but I just wanted to record something that was a little bit cleaner and more up to the standard of the stuff I usually upload, which I hope is pretty high quality. Oh, okay, so you can see I got hit by some lightning there. It is not looking good for my sales. Hit this up. Yeah, so this is like this draws a little bit on like the techniques of like a cinematic platformer. Definitely, Sam definitely said that. If you did see that stream, that reminded him a bit of like, you know, Limbo and Inside, like Playdead's games. And it does. It's not quite as like macabre as those games, but it definitely has like that cinematic platformer atmosphere and stuff, which I think works really well with the feeling of like moving this rickety machine, operating it. If you played something like a real human basketball, or what is it, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, where you've got to operate several stations to get a machine running like well, and there's always that feeling of kind of being overwhelmed and never having enough people or bodies to operate it. That's definitely, this game is like a more like single player atmospheric journey, which I really enjoyed. I've been meaning to get to this game for a while, but even as somebody who doesn't like formally work in video games and basically only does this as like freelance and stuff, as a hobby, a really strenuous, kind of demanding hobby, I haven't had enough time because there's been a lot of good games, but you know, I thought this is worth highlighting. I'm gonna see if I can get to at least the next station. As you can see, this machine is not running as well as it used to. At the start of the game, it definitely was a much more efficient machine. I rolled back the save a little bit, just because I felt it would be a little bit easier if I already knew all the puzzles. What I want to do... You should hopefully be able to hear this music. It's mixed properly. But definitely some real vibes here. I can jump up here, yeah. Yeah, there's some real good vibes. Soft. Not melancholy, I don't know what the word. Almost lonely, but not quite. Like a good feeling of solitude, I'd say, to the whole thing. Like, you definitely get the feeling of kind of being alone. And okay, so it won't let me out that way. Needs to do. You definitely get the feeling of kind of like being alone and being on like sort of a road trip, and it's kind of like having an old shitty car that you like fix along the way for a road trip. So this is like a little blowtorch. This is the next new piece. And you can see that my machine kind of rolled in there. It's getting outfitted with this blowtorch. which is gonna be useful just a bit, since everything that I have is broken. Where did I drop those? I can zoom this. Where I dropped a fuel canister. Maybe I dropped it down there. So you can't, like I said, this is not about like platforming challenge or anything. If you fall from a big height, you will just float down. You can kind of see this subtle camera work. There is really only one camera angle, which is side on for the entire game. But the slow zooms to, so you can manually zoom them. But like the slow zooms to like give you a sense of place or move in for like a more intimate view. They really work. They pick them well. I'm not gonna pick up all. I'm just gonna take this back. Like this slow zoom as you approach it from the like wide establishing shot is just, it's smart. It's not like an incredible thing that's never been done, but that's like kind of where the, you know, like the cinematic platformer style of atmosphere and like environmental development works. Because a lot of those do a lot in kind of keeping you in the world, you kind of communicating what of it is. Be able to fix this. Okay. So, I'm gonna push this. Machine is now fixed. Alright, now we're off to the world. Oh no, go back up, let's go up. Alright. Literally set sail. That's one of those other finicky mechanical bits. There you go. Oh, I don't think there's any wind right now. So you can actually, how did I say that? I've remembered. You can actually tell by the upper right, you'll see that flag. That'll tell you how much wind there is and what direction it's. But yeah, this is Far Lone Sails. Again, I keep forgetting to look up who made these, but yeah, no, it'll be in the description. I thought this is just a neat little thing. Deserves your attention. And it's just kind of like one of those quietly thoughtful games. It's art direction, painterly style. It's like small camera zoom. They're all pretty small details that like just set up a world with honestly not a lot. Yeah, like it's out. And they just hear the radio softly playing in the background. It's honestly, it's really good. It's just really good. I don't really have any like smart things to say about that. I know that people come to me for some of those, but like this is just really good game with really amazing atmosphere, and I just thought I should share that with you. All right, till next time. Peace.